I wasn't always an adventurous kid, whether it actually comes to going outside and explore the neighborhood, or even visiting a different country. Yeah, kinda weird. I never had that curiosity of just roaming around as a child, or at least not all the time. But I think that all changed ever since I got my PS3, especially with Battlefield 3. Hell, did y'all have the PS Move or whatever it's called? Basically like the PlayStation version of the Wii. I had this game. Of course, it came with a device that recognizes said controller, or the PlayStation camera, or whatever it's called. Kung Fu Riders. I've always had fun with that game. It was also nice that I can actually use songs that I download on my PS3 and use it there. But I also had my fun with Uncharted 3. I wouldn't really get into Uncharted 1 until like 2015, 2016, when for I think my birthday or Christmas present one year, I got the Nathan Drake Uncharted collection. Hell yeah, dude. This is where the fun truly begins, the wonder for exploration. Released in 2015 and developed by Blue Point Games, it contains remasters of Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, of course. Naughty Dog's very own adventure IP. I just love the art on it as well, the spine, the cover. I do like this fact that Drake's silhouette is basically a map. It's also nice to see the artworks from the first 3 games too. 50 gigabytes though? That's crazy. It's also a shame that the multiplayer is only reduced to an online leaderboard. They also did in fact add motion blur, but to my knowledge that's the only other things that they added. They did of course remaster all the models, but I think that's all the Blue Point did. Anyways, I think that's it. The only thing I gotta say is Amy Hennig is in this is the writer for this game, if I'm correct. Huh. Writer and creative director for the trilogy. Went on to go to Golden Abyss, Battlefield Hardline, Forspoken, and Marvel 1943. Nice. Right. Into the PS4 you go, buddy. Man, back when Naughty Dog still had their good reputation, very interesting to see that they started off making 2 games for the Apple II series computers, to coming up with IPs like Jak and Daxter, Crash Bandicoot, of course Uncharted, and The Last of Us. And of course there are some controversies behind the scenes, whether it is half of Uncharted 3's development team going over to The Last of Us, The Last of Us actually getting remastered a year after its release, or literally anything with Neil Druckmann, or should I say Cook. His involvement in Naughty Dog is one hell of a can of worms that I don't want to open right now, but when it comes to it, I'll talk about it. We open up to a cool but simple menu screen, similar to that of the box art, and of course after pressing X we can either play Uncharted 1, 2, or 3. I like the fact that for each game it shows off Drake in their box art poses. Let's actually get into the Uncharted 1 menu. It's so simple, but man does it look epic. Not really much going on. I do like the map in the background, zooming out slowly, switching and stuff. It's pretty cool. It is simple, but I do like it. There's only 2 things to select, so of course we pick new game. Ignoring the friend stats, I don't really care about that. Now we can play with 2 different modes, campaign and continuous speedrun. For the continuous speedrun, you'll just get a timer at the top right, nothing really special, but you can get a certain trophy, 2 if you're fast enough. However, I didn't bother with that since the former trophy does require a skin and we need to beat the game to even get that. Now we have to select our difficulty. There are 6 in total, but off the start we have access to all but 1. That being brutal, of course. Only unlocked after you beat crushing difficulty. Of course I wanted the joyous time, so normal it is. I'll say as well, I really do like the items in the loading screen. I'm not sure why I like it. I wouldn't call it a MacGuffin. The MacGuffin is basically the city. That would be the MacGuffin, like El Dorado, the Lost City. That's the MacGuffin, but the item in the loading screen, I guess you can call it a plot device. I guess, a smaller MacGuffin. It does move on to a major part of the story, but I just like it. It gets used in the story, so I'm a simple man. Starting proper, we get a camera view of the ocean floor, at least the bottom. Then a quote appears. There must be a beginning of any great matter, but the continuing unto the end until it be thoroughly finished yields the true glory. Sir Francis Drake, 1587. I do like this idea. Most Uncharted games have this. I know Lost Legacy doesn't have it, which is kind of a shame, but ayo, at least they appear in every other game. They set the tone for the upcoming adventure, with the Sir Francis quote highlighting the importance of perseverance and actually completing your objectives so you can obtain that glory. It really does fit. Anyways, after that you see some type of coffin, and then you see said coffin on a boat. And then we meet two of the three epic protagonists. The one that you hear narrating is Elena Fisher,
of legendary explorer Sir Francis Drake, who was buried at sea over 400 years ago.
A TV personality as well as her journal. She's there to make a documentary of some kind. She's cool. She mainly just lugs around a camera filming everything along her own journey. Well, until she fucking loses that camera like halfway through the story. Even then, she can still hold on her own. She isn't too annoying either. I do like her interactions with Drake and Sully. I'll talk about Sully later, but for now let's just talk about the man of the hour, Nathan Drake. A man fascinated with the world of adventure, treasure hunting, and, since he's not a goody-goody two-shoes, thievery. Even in the third game, I always found him to be so cool. A very knowledgeable man, as well as a quick thinker, especially in danger, with a lot of luck on his side. For some reason, him being dirty, it just adds to his coolness, at least for me. I don't know why, but I guess it's because it just makes him look more rugged, more manly, I guess. Anyways, back on the boat. And Elena, of course, is filming and giving monologue about the coffin, with Sir Francis Drake apparently, supposedly in it. To confirm what's in it, Drake pries open the coffin with a crowbar. Banter between Elena and Drake ensues, and we find out that said coffin has no body, but it does have this old box. Within that box, we see what looks like an old journal. Seems like the new Drake knew that the old Drake was a bit cunning. All the while, Elena urges Drake to show the camera what he's holding. Drake fires back, saying that all that mattered was in the coffin, not the box itself. But the box was in the coffin? I'm pretty sure that counts, Drake. I don't know. Of course, they start to bicker. And pirates show up. Panamanian pirates. Yeah, I forgot to say that this is in Panama. Sorry. Here we see that this is the first chapter. There being 22 in total for the first game, as well as learning the controls. It's pretty simple. The game does tell you, but it's pretty simple like I said. L2 will aim, R2 is to shoot, move around with the left stick, or if you're aiming, look around with the left stick. Pressing circle while you're moving will make Drake do a roll, or if you're by a wall, box, or whatever that Drake can hide, he can just crouch behind it, or hide. Pressing circle again will get you out of that hiding position. The game also teaches you that if you hold up on the left stick and then press X behind cover, then you can just climb over said cover. You can also roll from cover to cover. It is nice, but there is some clunk to it, especially the rolling. I've heard others complain about the shooting being clunky too. The various times I try to roll away from danger, only to inexplicably just go behind some cover that I didn't even think was near me, and yet Drake just sailed up right beside it as if I wanted to be there. No, I didn't even know it was there, so yeah, you just have to be careful when rolling. Yeah, I probably did have to be mindful, but still, heat of the battle, you know. The shooting. Now, I didn't find the shooting all too bad, but I did find aiming around to be slow, but you can just let go of the L2 button and then find your enemy, aim, and then go on from there. You can of course run and gun as well. While running, just press R2 and then bullets will spray. There will also be a momentary parentheses sight thing that you can just use as a reference. The enemy doesn't even need to be within those parentheses. If he's somewhere in it, then the bullets will just go towards him. I wouldn't use running and gunning towards regular human enemies. You'd probably get flanked or shot at from different angles, but there is a different enemy type that I would absolutely run and gun towards. We'll talk about them later. I do like the fact that you can melee the dudes. You learned this in the first chapter as well. Square is a light punch, triangle is a heavy punch, and you can do a light heavy light combo, but for some reason the triangle button just didn't work, and I always get a really heavy punch after I try to do the heavy combo. I just relied on mashing the square button, in all honesty. Right back into weapons, specifically grenades. L1 is to just throw a grenade. You can also aim by holding L1 then letting go. To reload a firearm, just press R1. You can also change the shoulder perspective of Nathan Drake. Just press L3. That's all the game teaches you and what you can learn offhand in the first chapter. In the second, there's still more tutorial things, but it's more for platforming and stuff. Back to the narrative. After holding off 3 waves of Panamanian pirates, Sully swoops in. I don't think he really fires, I think he just swoops in and scares the pirates. And then we get rescued. The ship also sinks, the one that we were in, it sinks. And then we properly meet Sully. Hell yeah, I fucking love this man. Victor Sullivan, former US Navy serviceman and current businessman and treasure hunter. He helps Nate on his adventure, and in this game he saved Elena and Drake with his badass seaplane named Hog Wild. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you only see it for 2-3 chapters in this game, but that doesn't really matter. What does matter is the relationship between Nathan Drake and Victor Sullivan. Basically like a father-son type of deal, or master and apprentice. They've been together for a long time, basically. You even get to see more of their backstory in Uncharted 3, but I'll get to that when we get to that game. Right back to the narrative. After the ship sinks, Elena and Drake will head over to the seaplane, get rescued by Sully. Somehow Elena actually saved the camera, even though I'm pretty sure the camera got wet, but whatever. Drake informs Sully about the coffin, and Elena thinks she's part of the team. We then get to another cutscene where Sully and Drake are talking about what to do next. All the while, I'm pretty sure Elena's getting chewed out, or at least explain the situation to, I guess, the boat renters, or someone, the producers probably, to what she just experienced. While she's distracted with that, Nathan and Sully just decide to gun her and leave her behind, seeing her as a liability that might just give away their locations. Harsh but fair, we arrive to at least a South American jungle, which I believe is Colombia. You can explore a little bit, even though, yes, it is a corridor, but said corridor does lead to a small open space where you can start platforming. It's serviceable. You can clearly see when you're at it, and Drake clearly communicates, well, not verbally, but you can see visually where Drake is reaching. For the most part, you can also see where you can start climbing, at least if you're starting on the ground. It's usually lighter than the rest of the environment. Well, that's how it usually is, but now we have yellow paint. One aspect I do like about the climbing is that there are some ledges that will just fall and break away from the walls. It's telegraphed pretty well. You can hear the rocks start to crumble away. You can also see it, of course, and you can hear Drake start panicking. That is your time to make your move and jump onto the next ledge. If you don't move in time, you're falling along with the rocks, dude. One thing that you also learned that I'm kind of mixed about is the QTEs. There are 2-3 exceptions. They're pretty rare, and I knew what to do since I played this before, but if you don't, you just gotta hope you have fast reactions. One thing you do see, starting from this chapter onwards, are treasures. You get to see these little glints. They're either out of the way, or maybe even right in your view while walking, or completely behind something. These are basically the collectibles. Go and stand right beside it. There should be a treasure chest icon. There's 60 treasures in total, with one extra being an Easter egg / nod to the Jak and Daxter series. If you're keeping an eye out for them, you should be able to see them, or if you're just roaming around a certain area, you're bound to at least find a glint. It's kind of like in Fatal Frame or Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girls. I know it's weird comparisons, but hey yo, that's what it looks like. They are just sparkles. I believe that's all for the mechanics in all honesty, so I guess I'll go to the environments and settings. So we talked about the boat in Panama, Battler's literally just one chapter, but most of the time we're going to be either in the jungle, an old building, Spanish building, or underground. Not much variety, but I will say the jungles do look beautiful even from their time period. Buildings do feel Spanish. I do like how it, like I said, it feels Spanish. It does look like, I don't know, St. Augustine. I've been there many times, and it looks somewhat similar. And it does really feel like ruins that you're exploring. Derelict, decrepit, being taken over by nature. I guess you can say it hits the themes of mystery, adventure. Yeah, fuck it. Treasure hunting as well. Finding one of those 60 treasures does help with that as well. The rooms, the environments, they felt as if they were naturally made. It's kind of weird to say, but what I mean is the nature feels like nature, the Spanish buildings do feel Spanish, and I just gotta say, I really do look how the decrepit Spanish colonial towns look. It is just so beautiful. At the same time, it does look hauntingly eerie. Like, where's the colony? What happened to them? Are there even any survivors? If they are dead, what happened to them? What killed them? If they fled, what caused them to flee? All that adding more to the mystery. It's not just the colonial Spanish that was involved in all of this. We also do see signs of Nazis. Yeah, I think it's high time we head back to the narrative. So yes, after dicking around with the environment, we eventually push a rock down, rock falls, and creates a hole where we can actually see some ruins underneath the ground. There's also some evidence that Spaniards were actually here. Do a bit of platforming, some puzzles. The boys end up to a gap in the wall with some evidence of gold and scratch marks on the floor indicating that this particular item was moved. That being El Dorado, a real-life legend about a city of gold somewhere in South America, but in this game it is an idol, a really big idol. At least that's Drake's conclusion, and we do follow the scratch marks on the floor, end up outside, and then we walk and see a German U-boat right near some falls. Pretty interesting. Anyway, Sully wants to go home, but Drake wants to investigate, so the two split up, we scale a wall to end up on the U-boat, investigate it, and we see the fact that the occupants of that sub probably met a terrible fate. It is so disheveled in there. You can even see dried blood along the walls and floors. Anyways, Drake makes it to captain quarters, finds a map, coordinates it with a Kriegsmarine map, tries to get out of there, but he accidentally bumps into a torpedo. Drake tries to get out of there, but
That's probably bad.
he does eventually get out, dives into the water, and we meet the bad guys. That being Navarro and Roman. Roman being the rival treasure hunter and crime lord, Navarro being Roman's right-hand man, shield, and mercenary, and both of them are here for Sullivan. Reason being that Roman had given Sully big loan sum of money, and he wants that paid back now. Sully also let it slip before that he was about to get a fine of a lifetime, and because of that, Drake is forced to relinquish the Kriegsmarine map. Nate was about to get shot, but Sully intervened, therefore Sully got shot. Sully is assumed dead, and Nate is about to get shot, but with his luck, and for him this time, the U-boat explodes with that missile finally exploding. All hell breaks loose, Nathan breaks free, causes a small set piece to happen, and then we basically go back to the ruins. But before that, we also meet Elena once again. Yeah, somehow she has tracked us down. Anyways, we both backtrack and shoot our way through the baddies. And once we're in the place where we initially entered the ruins, we discover that Elena has her jeep poorly hidden in some leaves that no one discovered. And I do see that there's a Colombian flag, I think, on the rear of the jeep. It's very small, but I can kind of see it. And we leave. Next destination being the Uncharted island from the Kriegsmarine map. For one, I want to talk about what Uncharted is usually known for. Set pieces. There are some here, hell, the first chapter is a set piece, but they're not really the best. I mean, they're fine, they're serviceable, but they're just not as memorable as the ones in 2, 3, 4. 3 is the more memorable for me, but that's not really here nor there. And if you don't know what a set piece is, it's usually a carefully crafted yet scripted sequence of events in a certain game that triggers once you hit a certain part of the game. It's usually there to be memorable. The only memorable one that I like in Uncharted 1 comes near the end of the game once you see this particular type of enemy. Or should I say, the only other type of enemy. That's actually a good segue for what I want to talk about next. The enemies. It's mainly just humans, gunners. The main difference mainly being the clothes of those humans and the guns. Sometimes there's even a fat person, but you don't really see that much fat enemies. So now the other enemy, those are going to be the supernatural enemies. The earlier Uncharted games are known for that. In this game, they're called Descendants. The descendants specifically of the Spaniards of this colony. You do see hints of them around, and especially in the jungle, where you see some traps. They're not made by the pirates, no, it's from the Descendants. Yeah, we won't really see them until near the end of the game, but yeah. Back to the humans, like I said, there's pirates, basically who we fight in the first half of the game, and then there's the mercenaries. They're the same, they just wear tactical gear, and I'm pretty sure they take more hits because of said tactical gear, which, yeah, kinda sucks, but what they do bring is better weapons. What the pirates have are AKs, PMs, or Makarovs. I'm pretty sure what Drake's starting pistol is in this game is a Makarov as well, which is an interesting carry, but hey yo, I guess it is milsurp, so it's not like today where it's $500. Probably back in his time, if we are to put it in the time period he got it at, assuming he didn't steal it, it was probably like what, 100? 200 maybe, max? There's also grenades, rocket launchers, Magnum revolvers, well, just one from the pirates, the West 44. I know the pirates also have shotties, but I don't know if it's a different shotgun compared to what the mercenaries have, but what I do know is that the mercenaries have better weapons overall. The pirates have their PM Makarovs, the mercenaries have their Beretta 92 FSs. That's crazy. I mean, yeah, the mercenaries can't afford it, I shouldn't be surprised by that. I'm just surprised about how big of a jump in quality there is, man. The Makarovs, they're good, but Berettas? God, they're godly to shoot if you ever shot one. The mercenaries also have M4s, Dragunov snipers, Desert Eagles, and I just checked, they do have better shotguns, Spaz 12s as opposed to the pirates' Moss 12s. There's also the micro Uzi, but only the pirates use that. And both sides use the M79 grenade launcher. The Nazis also have left their own gun, that being the MP40. Also, that Dragunov that I mentioned earlier, the mercenaries don't use it, but it is assumed that they brought it along with them. Last thing I want to talk about is the puzzles. They're pretty nice, it's a nice break away from the action. There's also some good downtime for you to think about what just happened. I never really struggled with any of the puzzles in this game. I found them to be pretty easy, somewhat challenging, but not too much. You can just look into the journal. Hell, the game usually displays an icon to look at the journal so you can get some hints. Though I can see why it can be a bit annoying or distracting even. If you're stuck in a puzzle for too long, there'll be a sound effect as well as a pop-up that you can see telling you to press up on the D-pad for a hint. Thankfully, you can just turn that off if you don't want that, so at least that's mitigated. But yeah, I never found myself having to do that. It did come up anyways, but it didn't really distract me too much. And like I said, not too hard. Just look at a journal, take some time, take some breathers, and you'll figure it out. Alright, so I do believe I have said everything that I wanted to say off my chest, so all that's left is the narrative, the story. So yeah, major spoilers ahead, just gonna tell you all that. If you do want to play it, I just gotta say, it's not gonna be like the other Uncharted, it's gonna be a bit more slower,
but I still think you're gonna have a good time. Anyways, yeah, timestamp up ahead, and let's go into that story. Finish this up.
Alright, so after the shit show that was Columbia, Elena and Drake used Hogwell to go to the Craig's main coordinates, but as soon as they approached the island, there were anti-aircraft fire. They did get hit. Elena had jumped first with her parachute, and Drake second, and after that we are on the island for real, where most of the game takes place. Firstly, you're battling through pirates and seeing where Elena is, trying to see where the parts of the plane are and stuff. You do see some smoke in the distance, so Drake does go towards it, fighting the pirates, and we do eventually see the remainder of the plane, the fuselage as well as the captain's area. We don't see any evidence of Elena, but we do see, I believe, a parachute in the faraway castle. Well, not really that far, but it's still a ways away from where we are. So we climb down, fight more enemies, head towards that castle, but along the way we do see some traps. Hell, we even see a pirate get killed by said trap just walking past it. Our first introduction to those traps. And after setting up most of the traps with grenade launchers, we finally head to the castle walls, scale it, get inside, fight more enemies, scale the castle and shit again, and then we find the parachute that Elena had stuck atop one of the towers, but no sign of Elena, and there's no blood, so therefore Elena is somewhere, we just have to find her. And with that, Drake goes roaming around the castle trying to find her, do some puzzles, and then we stumble upon something interesting. There are these drawings that Drake sees. He shines a light to it, and it appears that there appears to be a map as well as some writing. And we discovered that said writing is from Francis Drake. We don't know what he's plotting, but it is to a man named Fletcher. Damn good find, as well as a very curious one. But Drake continues on, and he eventually goes to some type of balcony, gets a looking glass, and sees next major area, Elena, as well as two pirates looking to kill, or at least capture, Elena. So we have to interfere, we do, and Drake gets not directly shot, but knocked out. Drake is then awoken after some rocks thrown in his face by Elena, where she is outside of his cell. Yes, Drake is in a cell. And we get meet to the leader of the pirates, Eddie Raha. Technically this is his first appearance, but Drake also knows him. We do get to see Drake and Eddie's adventure in a whole separate comic, but I'll get to that some other time. Eddie was the first mercenary that Roman hired to patrol and find the treasure on this island, but of course Eddie wants the gold for himself, and he also has Drake's map. So Eddie tries to cut Drake a deal, lead him to the gold, and he'll live. However, Elena has other plans as she uses her jeep with a cable to pull away and rip the sail door and wall from Drake's cell. Eddie is stunned, and while he is stunned, Drake gets the map back, and Drake and Elena get into a jeep sequence. A pretty cool sequence, but they do eventually go to a dead end, and Eddie confronts them. Drake and Elena decide to fall back to the water, escape, and get some downtime, in which we go to a cutscene where Drake explains that he wants to at least pack it up. The traps, the amount of pirates that he has to face, the abandoned buildings as well, and also the drawings that he saw, it's all getting to him. But Elena wants the treasure. She's starting to get a bit greedy, and she also saw something else with her camera. She shows Drake the fact that Elena herself will continue no matter what. So that's enough for him to keep on going, but
This time, I drive.
and now we start the first of two jet ski segments. I do kinda like this jet ski sequence. Drake drives while Elena shoots with a grenade launcher. Anyways, you just dig around, kill some enemies, clear some barrels, get off, open up a gate, rinse and repeat, and eventually we get to the customs house. Once both inside, they both see that there's a library, and Drake sees a shipping log of some kind, and we do eventually see a drawing of the golden statue, which must be El Dorado. Very, very cool, but Elena then shifts her attention to the ring in Drake's necklace, which includes a quote, a date, as well as the coordinates off of Panama where Drake's coffin was supposedly. They move on and fight more enemies. Of course, they also see a boat that they can both use to get out of there. Of course, Drake goes alone, Elena stays behind, and we have to fight more enemies. Yay! We also do see later in the customs house that there's better equipment than what the pirates are carrying, and we also see a glimpse of a helicopter. So there is going to be equipped with better firepower as well as better armor. Nonetheless, we push through, get to the boat's position, which is being boarded by pirates, only to meet up with Elena somehow. And she has got some interesting footage showing Navarro and Roman with Victor Sullivan boarding a helicopter. Yeah, the man is somehow alive. Elena is questioning how he's still there and if we should still trust Sully. Drake is a bit shaken up, but as soon as they leave, they both appear and it's on to the next section and to the next jet ski section.
Elena, I can't hold on! Give me your other hand! You've got to let it go! Damn it!
Which, this one kinda sucks. No more grenade launcher, we're to a Makarov now, and we have to fight currents as well as barrels. Those suck, but once you're close to the end, you don't have to face any jet ski segments ever again. So, once you're at the sanctuary, we do come across a new trap, but this time this trap is not made with wood. It's made out of, well, wood with metal parts. Metal parts from our plane. Really creepy, but we also have to watch out for the new threats, that being Navarro's mercenaries. They're the ones with the Desert Eagles, the Beretta 92 FSs, the M4s, so yeah, not much differences between them and the pirates, so hey, it's not that bad. You're going to be intercrossing a lot with various buildings, or should I say you're going to be encountering the same buildings time from time. It's not too much, at least in my opinion, but I understand if it can get a bit repetitive. At least to me, when you enter a building that you've been in before, it's usually from a different area, or a place you haven't entered through before, so there's that. Anyways, eventually we do find Sully and a library. He explains what he's been doing with the pirates.
You might have thought of checking for a pulse before running off and leaving me for dead.
I'm pretty sure I remember correctly that the U-boat exploded and people, or whatever, Navarro's pirates fucking shot at us. I don't think there was any time to check a pulse, dude. Anyways, we just get chuddy buddy and we team up. Do some puzzles, we go underground, but we also get separated from Sully. Elena and Drake go underground. We see some structures underground. It's also a big environmental puzzle, and eventually, once you solve everything and defeat some pirates again, they do show up once again. But after all that, we reach a room where we actually see the corpse of Sir Francis Drake. He never left. We do get stuck with Raja and a pirate of his, and we have to hold on as Elena is trying to get a rope or chain down so either of them can actually get out of there. Sadly, both of the pirates succumb to the new enemies, the Descendants, the supernatural enemy. Well, I guess they're the original Spaniard settlers of this colony, but once they opened the tomb of El Dorado, everything broke loose, as once they breathed in the spores within the tomb of El Dorado, everyone got infected with whatever disease that was, but it's basically some type of zombie-esque disease, but they didn't always look like the descendants that we see now. We do see an example of the initial infection of, I guess, the first generation, but the way they do now, they just adapted and basically inbred with themselves, so there's that. Anyways, these enemies, you don't aim and shoot, you just run and gun. They close distance really quick, so like I said, running and gunning is the best. And after some time, Elena finally gets that chain over to Drake. We're able to climb it, run, and then both of us end up in the Nazi part of the area. The bunkers. Yes, the Nazis were here too. I mean, dude, we used a Kriegsmarine map to get to this island. And basically we want to get out of there, but power's off. It's going to have to go to the generator room, turn on the power, and then, of course, get out of there with Elena. Drake just scales some pipes, goes over to the other side, and this is basically I guess a horror section section. It is the most alone that we are in this game. I mean, it's pretty dark. We are, like I said, we are alone, and random times the descendants can come out. So yeah, we're just going to the electric room, the generator room, turn it on, and then we have to go right back. But before we do head back, we also see the fact that the Nazis actually caught some tape of an infected soldier in their ranks. I don't know how it happened, but I guess when it's about to fall apart or just a random incident, they just had it chained to a wall, and it doesn't last too long, but near the end, the dude breaks free, presumably killing the cameraman and destroying the camera. But other than that, we escape, and once we head to the control panel, we see that Elena has been taken hostage by Roman and Navarro, as well as some other pirates. We have a convo between Drake and the other group. They go up, we have to find our own way, and we have to fight our way through some descendants and mercenaries. Eventually we do get up. We also get into contact with Sully. He's getting pinned down, so we help him, group up, head towards the monastery, and go back down, and then we finally see El Dorado in the flesh. So Roman, Navarro want to get it, but Navarro urges Roman to open it. He does, and we see that this idol is actually a sarcophagus. And once it's open, we see some spores spill out. Roman inhales it. Roman reacts badly to it, closes the sarcophagus, and we see that he's mutated. Basically the first stage, I guess, of being a descendant. Navarro basically tricked him. Anyways, Navarro and let it go up, has the idol be taken, and we have to follow the both of them. So we do get on the idol, and we go to the final part of the game, that being a ship. Yes, we have gone full circle from Elena and Drake's ship in the beginning to Navarro and Roman's ship, well, Navarro's ship in the end. It's I don't really like it. It's made out of 3 segments of cover-based shooting. Kill all the enemies as well as try to hit Navarro. Once you do hit Navarro, he flees, goes to the second section, rinse and repeat. And then once you're finally in the final section, you just have to hide in 3 separate boxes. Don't get hit by any of Navarro's shot in general, because it's gonna hit hard. Or should I say, it's gonna be a one-hit kill. And once you do get to Navarro, I believe you have to punch him, and then you get to a QTE sequence. Yeah, the final boss is a QTE sequence. Crazy. Once you get it right, Navarro is temporarily knocked out. You go over to some helicopter wreckage by the edge of the ship where Elena is. She's doing alright, but Navarro comes to, tries to shoot the both of them. However, Nathan and his quick wits pushes over the wreckage, being weighed down by El Dorado, and there's also a rope that snags Navarro and plunges them both to the depths of the ocean. So we don't have to incur the wrath of the Golden Man's curse, nor of Navarro. Very, very nice. Elena and Drake are about to share a kiss, but get interrupted by Sully, who has come in a smaller boat, and he also has some treasure, so that's nice. And we end Uncharted 1's adventure there.
Wow, dude. It's not the most complicated plot in the world, but man, I enjoyed it. The gunplay was nice. It is clunky, not as clunky as like rolling or whatever, but I enjoyed it. Didn't really roll that much. The story I found pretty nice. I do like the, let's just say, paranormal elements about that. I wish there was a little bit more enemy variety. But what can we do? We have what we have. I enjoyed it for what it is. And I do like the theming, the adventure, the treasure hunting. There's also minor ones like the greed. Like Elena early on, like, what's that? Near the customs house. She wanted to check out El Dorado. I don't think she wanted to take it for herself. I think she just wanted it for documentary, and she got punished for that with losing her camera. So no more footage of that. Navarro, he got punished by his greed. He wanted El Dorado for himself, fucked over Roman, and now he's in the bottom of the ocean rotting, along with El Dorado. Or, not really, he's probably eaten already before he even reached the bottom. Sucks to be him. Roman, I guess he can be in that description as well. Well, not really greed, more like karma. But, whatever. There's a main one. Oh yeah, the mystery. Unraveling the mysteries throughout the story was pretty cool, especially with all the hints from Drake and stuff throughout the island. And even the traps. You only see the traps like, what, twice in the game? But I do like the fact that they were there. It's a hint to the fact that the pirates did not do this. Well, especially near the end. Or should I say near the sanctuary part, near the end of the game. So, yeah, that's something. Anyways, I think that's it for this video. Next video should be Uncharted 2. But I do want to get into other subjects other than video games and anime. That being, of course, the Club World Cup. There you go. Can you see it? Yeah, this is also in HD, Momade, Sundowns. I think it's backwards there, but whatever. I also want to talk about my journey through the Club World Cup. And I'll just show this. Yeah, well, you can't really see the logo on it, but you can see by the case. There you go, there's the logo somewhat? Yeah, Berettas, yes. I got my first firearm, y'all. Home defense. No carries yet. I want to get used to it. So, yeah. I also do want to do some cars, like overview of cars. And that's what I want to do in general. Overviews of things I like. But, yeah. I think that's really it. Theme's cool. Gunplay's alright. Well, I enjoyed it, but it's alright. The story beats. It's nice. I like the characters. Shoutouts to the voice actors in general. I'm gonna put out a whole list, like, in front of my face here. They also did the motion capture, so yeah, that's pretty nice. I think that's it. Next game's Uncharted 2, and once October rolls around, well, I don't think I'm gonna be doing these, but I got some Steam games. PC, where's my PC? There's my PC, yeah, right over there. And yeah, I'll just say it's a bit more, I guess, adult themed. So, ayo, there's no sex in general, but people did love it for interesting reasons. I don't know if I'm going to review just that game or something else. We'll see, but that's it for real. Thank you all for watching. Y'all leave a like for this episode video. I'll see you in wherever. I don't know, man. I'm tired as fuck. Peace.
Woo-wee! So we got another project done. Hell yeah. I know I didn't talk about the music, but I didn't really find it that, how should I say it? I didn't really hear much of it, other than the theme that you hear now, as well as the theme that or the song that plays when you discover El Dorado. Other than that, I didn't really hear much of the OST. But, yeah, it's alright, at least by itself. I just didn't really hear that much. Yeah, Uncharted 2 next. Probably a Beretta video next as well. Yeah. Y'all have a good one now. I have nothing else to say. Peace.